Hey, buddy.
Hey, good to see you.
I was playing golf.
How'd you shoot?
I was playing horrible. We have this group of guys that play that we do like 6 tournaments a year, and this was the 3rd one. And I play the worst golf of my life when I play in these tournaments for some reason. So I was doing it again, and this one got me out. So the friends I was playing with, I'm like, hey, I just got a call. I got nominated and elected into the whatever it's called, into the Hall of Fame. I got to go, and they're like, yeah, go, you know. So anyway, it was kind of funny.
So what was your initial reaction? What does it mean to you? Is it surreal?
It is. I have so much. I have so much respect for this sport, and I have a passion for it. The same as I did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I feel the same way. My role is different, but the fact that I have a role is for me is really special because I want to be part of this community. I love this community. It's full of great people. This sport is it's hard, it's grueling, it's difficult, it's challenging, which is what makes it great. And when you can, those few moments when you can have success, it's nothing like it because you know how hard it is. And you know, to me, what makes it so special is being part of something that so many people that I look up to and have respect for were part of before me. Because without all them, there is no opportunity for me or Kevin or the next class. The generations before us made this happen. The France family, all the landmark award winners. You just go back and look. I mean, all those people played an amazing role in building this sport, and they made it possible for us to be here. And so to be in this hall with them means a lot.
Jeff, you were part of a generation of drivers at Roush Racing that produced a lot of drivers who have ended up in this Hall of Fame. You know, Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, and a couple other guys on the
missing somebody.
a couple other guys on the nominee list as well. Just when you think about that generation at Roush and exactly where do you feel like you guys rank in terms of the super teams of the best super teams in NASCAR history?
There were some moments there that we ranked right up top. Those years where Mark and I were teammates in Morrisville, those are really, really special years. I mean, that was a crazy time, and the amount of work. I mean, the way we did it is just so uniquely different compared to the way other teams are doing it, which made it special. And then Jack just kept building and making it bigger. And what was cool about Jack is, like, he wasn't going and stealing drivers. Like, he didn't, he built drivers. Like, he wanted drivers to come in and be part of the team. He didn't want a guy to just come and be a driver. He wanted to be part of it, but he didn't steal them from other people for the most part. He helped build those people. And it's amazing what Jack did, and the talent that Jack had, and not just the Hall of Famers, but the guys that may not get in were really good race car drivers too. I mean, so he had a lot of talent, not just in drivers, crew chiefs. He had really good crew chiefs. It was a really fun time to be there.
And then another place that's really well represented here is South Boston Speedway alumni. Obviously, you had Larry Phillips in the class that just got named here. Ray Hendricks Flying 11 is up in the Grand Hall right now. Can you just talk about, I guess, what South Boston Speedway's contributions to the sport have been, and then where you feel
the racing in Virginia was pretty solid. And you look at the impact of Virginia, and from there's just a lot of people that were from Virginia that's had a major impact on the sport. South Boston itself was one of the most difficult racetracks because of the quality of drivers and teams that were there, and you had to race with on a Saturday night. And if you go there today, it's a beautiful facility. They've done an incredible job of keeping that facility up. And from someone that's from South Boston, that's a blessing for the community to have a racetrack that's that nice, and it still plays a major role today.
What's it mean to go in with Harvick, who's a former teammate of yours, but also somebody who continues to have a role in the sport and give back to it, and just, you guys going in together.
It's really cool. I mean, I went to RCR at a point where they were struggling a little bit, and we got our hands dirty, and all of us went to work, and it took us a few years, but there for a while we put a lot of cars in the postseason for a lot of years in a row, and those were really, really fun years. And Kevin pushed me hard, and I want to think that I pushed him. But what's fun about Kevin is our personalities are so different that when the doors are shut, there's a lot of stuff happens, and when the doors are shut and you're trying to fix problems, and Kevin, he just is willing to put everything in a blender and put it on high, and whatever flies out. And he gets super aggressive, and so I'm more diplomatic than that. So we had some really interesting meetings coming completely different ways, and there were times I wasn't being forceful enough, so Kevin would, and there were times that Kevin would be forceful enough where I'd have to go clean it up. So it really was a fun time. And at that point, Clint was pretty young, and he didn't have enough. He hadn't built up enough equity, and I think he was looking around doing, what in the hell are these two people doing? So it was those years were fun because we were such uniquely different personalities.
You've been in that room before, and so now kind of being on the other side of it. How is it uncomfortable? What is it like having your career compared to someone else's and basically being judged about whether you or someone else is more worthy?
It's interesting that you said that, because it's human nature, right? When you don't get in, you're like, damn it, and because everybody wants to be in, and you have to take a step back. And I know the first year that I learned a lesson. My first year, I didn't get in, and I wouldn't say I had my feelings hurt, but for just a few minutes, I'm like, man, the people don't appreciate me, right? And I'm like, and I took a step back, and I'm like, that's not what this is about at all. Like, you're being compared to someone to be in the Hall of Fame, and it's okay that you didn't get in. The fact that you're being considered at all is pretty amazing, and you just gotta, just take a step back and pull the competitive nature away. It's hard to do that because that's why we're here. It's because we're all competitive. You gotta step back and say, this isn't necessarily a competition. It's a question of who's getting in when, right? And maybe I would have never gotten in. I didn't know, but you had to learn. I had to learn that it was an honor to be considered. And if I was playing golf today, I had no expectation of being, voted in today. I didn't have an expectation of that. I didn't know. I think people have to vote the way they think is best, and for who the person that it is. And if enough of them vote for you, then great. And if they don't, then that's okay, because they voted for who they thought deserved it. But it took me a year to understand that.
Looking ahead to next year, Greg's name should probably be on the ballot again. Do you think he has your vote?
Greg Biffle was also a Roush driver and a teammate, and we had a lot of good times together, and he won a lot of races and O'Reillys and truck championships, and he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame at some point. When that is, that's not for me to decide, but it's horrible, we lost Greg and everybody that was on that airplane. What a devastating moment. And, for those that are left behind, seeing him in the Hall will mean a lot.
You may have a vote too.
What's that?
You may have a vote too, by the way.
Why would I have a vote?
Would you be on the panel next year?
I don't know how that works. I don't know. I don't know my obligations now that I'm in. I didn't read the rule book.
Jeff, when you start looking back at your career now, you're going to have to look back, decide what you want to come into the Hall of Fame as an exhibit. What do you want the fans to learn through your exhibit, and what about your career that you want them to know about you, but maybe they don't?
That's interesting. I don't know. I need to think about that a little bit. I think for me, what I'm proud of is I don't think I was as talented as some other drivers. I don't think that there were some other drivers that certainly I thought had more natural, God-given ability to drive a race car than I did. But I made up for that in some other ways. And I'm proud that I knew what I wanted to do, and then somehow or another found a way to do it. Had a lot of fortunate breaks along the way. But I raced for 20 years in Cup. I mean, and when I meet people and they don't know a lot about racing and they'll, so how long you in Cup? And I'm like, 20 years. And I think about that, and I mean, that's amazing that I was in the sport for that long. And then I think people forget, and I forget, sometimes I forget that I had this moment in my career that was terrible. Like when I left Roush, I wasn't good. We weren't doing well. And when we went to Richards, it was to try to help rebuild Richard Childress Racing and me. And so my career went from that guy doesn't deserve to be here to wow, that's a championship contender, to hey, he doesn't deserve to be here again, to wow, that's a championship contender, to he doesn't deserve to be here anymore. And so I'm really lucky to have that second chance, because so many people don't get that second chance. So many people in sports, you quit having success, you're done. And Jack stuck with me, and Richard gave me a chance. They both were willing to stick with me through those tough moments. And that's really easy for me and other people to forget. It's easy to say, well, you won this and you won that, but there was years I went without winning races. And so for the people, and once you start doing that, it's hard to hire people, it's hard. So for all the people that are like, I still believe he can do it, that to have a second chance was very fortunate.
We talk about RCR, we talk about Roush, but it all started for you with the Stavola brothers in 94, 95.
Yeah.
What was it about driving for the Stavola brothers in those first 2 years that helped you get to where you are today, I suppose?
Well, so as a rookie, I went to Stavola brothers, and Mickey and Billy were so much fun to be around. And there was they had Sterling Marlin had left and brought a rookie in, and we didn't do very well. We won Rookie of the Year, and it was a crazy Rookie of the Year class, but we didn't have a great year by any means. But again, people stuck with me, and people kept believing I could do it. And then the thing about Billy is that when Jack called me, Jeff Smith actually called me about, funny story. So they actually were talking to Ward. And Ward said, a guy named Jeff Smith, he called me from Roush Racing. They're going to start a third team. I can't do it. And I'm like, well, give me his number. So I called Jeff. And I'm like, I'll do it. And so then 2 days later, I was in Michigan meeting with Jack. And, it's crazy that happened. But Billy had to he had a contract. I had a contract with Billy. And I had to go sit down and say, hey, I got this call from Jack Roush. This is a chance of a lifetime, an opportunity of a lifetime. And it's like telling somebody that you don't like them, you like this guy. And how's that going to go, right? And Billy's like, well, do you think that's best for your career? And I said, I do, Billy. And he said, well, okay, well, let's figure it out. And he let me go drive for Jack. And I was under contract. And I don't know what would have happened. Maybe we would have won 20 championships at Stavola Brothers. I don't know what would happen, but I do know that him letting me go allowed the opportunity for me to spend that time with Jack, which was an unbelievable 9 years. It taught those 9 years with Jack were instrumental in making me who I am, whether that's good or bad. It had a major influence of who I am as a person today. And but that wouldn't happen without Billy Savola.
Well, then, yeah.
Okay.
So this is probably the first question I asked, but I wasn't there. So you look around this room, there's a lot of guys that are already in the hall that you raced against. Now you're going to be enshrined with them. What does this mean for you?
Well, it's it's the guys I didn't race against, to be honest. Like it's like, Jeff and Jimmy and I mean the list goes on and on. Tony and I mean Mark and all those guys, and tons of respect for them because I raced against them. I know how good they were, and but the guys before all of us are what made it possible. Like, you look over here, these are the guys, those are the cars that created the opportunity for us to have a chance. So I look at that as just an amazing, like it's our job to do our part the same way they did their part to make it better for the next generation. But I mean, the respect I have for all the guys I raced against, because I know how good they were. And it was crazy about our sport. It's hard to see it. It's hard to watch a car go around a racetrack and say, that guy's really good. But when you're on the racetrack with them, you know. And there's no one in this Hall of Fame that I raced against that I don't think deserves to be in here. Thank you, guys.